Hi, everyone. I'm Allison McGill. I'm an editor-in-chief of Weddingbells magazine. We're here for our second In Conversation event, and I'm so excited about this one because we're talking about intimate weddings, which I personally had 11 years ago. So it's one of my favorite wedding styles, and it's how we're proceeding now in the wedding space. I have these amazing women here to chat with you guys about how to move ahead and how to plan. So let me introduce everyone. We have Nicole Golding coming to us from Montreal today. Nicole?
I am. Hi,
Hi, how are
everyone.
you? We have Diana Perez from Toronto in the Polka Dots. Hi, Diana.
Hi.
We have Stephanie Camiso, who's a new mom, who's got a little one sleeping upstairs, and she's here with us today. Hi, Stephanie, welcome.
Hi.
And she's from Bloom Boulevard. And we have Amna Rather from Lemon Truffle Designs. Hi, Amna, how are you?
Good. Hello, everyone.
Hi. So I had a chance, we all had great conversations this week, ladies, to talk about this conversation and how everyone's moving ahead with the new intimate wedding. So let's just dive in and talk about what this new wedding looks like. And it's going to be the wedding style, we're sort of predicting for the next 12 plus months. And this is really dictated on the amount of guests that you can have. Kind of 50 is the top tier number that we're seeing. As low as 10 people are doing it now. Why don't we kick this conversation off with you, Nicole? Tell me what you're seeing and how people are embracing this, because couples were a little slow to realize this is how it's going to be, but I feel that people are accepting now.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of my couples are actually excited, some of them, I should say, not a lot, to drill down their guest list to their nearest and dearest. Now the conversation is, sorry, we can't have more than 10, or we can't have more than 50. So I think they're excited at the possibility of having a smaller wedding, a more personalized wedding, as well as some are actually going to still celebrate next year. So some might have a small ceremony in their backyard this year, and then they'll continue with a party next year. So most of my couples are doing really well with it. They're embracing maybe having 2 events, and some are just gonna, go with the small ceremony and call it a day at that point. But most of them are embracing it in that way.
What is your first event that you have? Like, do you have some things that have sort of recalibrated that are going to happen in 2020?
Yeah, so I actually have an intimate ceremony that's going to be happening at a popular restaurant in Montreal called Jibby's. They're actually going to have the ceremony with 10 of their closest family and friends outside. Another thing I should note is a lot of people are moving things outside because there's less restriction when it comes to COVID. So we're going to move that outside. We're going to have cocktails, and then we'll have a short dinner inside after that. So that's going to be happening in August.
Fun. Diana, I want to flip to you because while we're talking about the event, the planner space, what are you experiencing and how are you helping couples move forward with this new normal?
So the majority of our clients are already understanding that there's not much that they can do. So what we've done is we've gone really excited about all the intimate things that they wish they could have done before. So using that wedding stash that we had on the side, that extra money to now create something extra special and do it in a way that embraces all the details and all those guests that they have momentarily together. So what we've done is we've moved a lot of our events to the next year that are bigger celebrations, but creating very intimate events where they can still have their ceremonies now, because a lot of my clients want to start their lives, but they don't want to give away that huge event as well. So it's a combination of both, where they are having a beautiful ceremony and then we're able to do a larger party next year and the years to come. And we do have events coming up where we're working with couples in July and August, September and October who are doing intimate ceremonies and hosting down their events to 10. I mean, we have some that have more numbers, but are willing and understanding that if the numbers need to drop for some reason, they'll be okay. So we get to have a little bit more fun, rework with their budget, really personalize all their details, get all the things that they wish they had originally for those larger scale events, and just bring it down to a smaller scale, but very intimate and exciting at the same time. Like a lot of more experiences, experiential, but on a smaller scale, which is kind of what we're doing right now.
And are you finding couples that you're dealing with, are you booking those 2 events like in, at the same time? Are people having the small one and they've got their date on hold for 2021 then?
That's right, yeah. So all the couples that I'm working with, we've moved dates. So we've already moved all their postponed contracts and so forth, but the majority of them still want to have that celebration this year. So what we've done is if their dates are coming up, because we weren't sure originally what it was look like in June. So what we did is we moved everything over to end of August, September, October. So those clients who had already invested all that money, so they wouldn't lose their deposits, lose any payments. We moved everything over to next year, and some even to 2022, just because of their own personal situation and what their experience are, starting a family, you know, getting their house, a lot of things that they wanted to do right now to kind of take that leap. So we felt the best thing was, let's still have your ceremony because that's the most important part. Get married, host a small little intimate gathering, and then still have your big party like you've always dreamt of. The majority of our clients have been dreaming of this day for many, many years, as I'm sure so many here on the panel can say that it's not something that they've been thinking about for a couple of months. It's been years and years of planning. So we don't want to take that away, and we still want to create a big celebration. And we might change it up, not a full ceremony and reception, but just a big party to commemorate their event as a whole.
Amazing. Stephanie, I know you and I talked, before the call about how these types of events are really, it's an opportunity to create something really special in your wedding space. And, coming to it from a floral end of things, we were sort of talking amongst ourselves that we were really supporting like color and happiness. And let's talk about how it is an extra special opportunity, like to get married at this time and really throw a truly unique party.
Absolutely. I mean, with a larger wedding, you find that a lot of the budget has to be to that. But when you have a smaller wedding party, smaller guest count, a lot of that can be allocated to the florals and things that are usually the first things to be X'd out. So I find with couples, they're putting a lot more concentration into the ceremony. Instead of little aisle markers on the chairs, they're doing, floral installations along the aisle. There's room to do large floral arches. There's a lot of opportunities to bolster up certain places that would have been cut out before.
Absolutely. And Amna, we talked about, we had a conversation where you told me you once did a 700-person wedding. We were talking about, what that looks like, in this time where the couples and families, are used to having like large celebrations, and how are they embracing sort of the lower numbers, and how are people going to make this ceremony and their special day magical in an intimate capacity?
So Alison, I've been actually seeing two types of scenarios. One being there's couples who wanting to do their ceremony this year. It can be aging grandparents. They again want to start a family. They might have a new home that they want to move into. So they want to have their intimate ceremony right now, where they want to call immediate family, have a good time, and kind of celebrate with them. On the other hand, we've had some of my clients sort of postpone, or most of them postpone to next year for the larger celebrations where, they still have 300 guests or 400 guests, and they still, trying to make sure everyone comes in, because everyone doesn't live in Canada. The people coming from outside, and they want everyone to come celebrate with them. So I've been looking at both scenarios, where I've also had couples having an intimate ceremony now and then still celebrating next year, once things get better with a larger crowd, because they feel they don't want to leave out the rest of the family that they're close to. So it's a bit of both.
Yeah, absolutely. I wanted to chat about venues and how that is being recalibrated, and how are you guys finding, interacting with venues and the setups and all that sort of things. Who wants to take this question first?
I guess I could start if that's okay. So I find that a lot of the venues are completely open to the experience. I find that they want to work with couples. They're happy to accommodate the numbers, and there's so many beautiful properties all around, the city, Ontario, especially here where we're working, that have made certain elopement packages, pop-up chapel opportunities where you can come in and have a quick ceremony if that's what you wish, and then have a little mini cocktail hour. Or if you want a private dining experience with your closest guests, you can do that as well. But the majority of venues are doing that. There's like Graydon Hall Manor is offering that service. There's the Harding Waterfront Estate Estate, that's a great property that you can use. The Arlington Estate is another venue that's offering the service of their ceremonies. So there's a lot of great event spaces in the city that are offering those options. And it's so nice because they're pairing up with, you know, photographers, officiants, florists, a bunch of vendors to come together and really create these magical experiences. So I find that they are doing a lot, and we will be seeing a lot more, especially now since the restrictions have been held a little bit better for us all. You'll see a lot more venues getting involved and providing those options throughout the city for guests and people.
Yeah, and I've also noticed a lot of couples are taking it really personal. They'll either have like a backyard arrangement ceremony, or even rent out an Airbnb, just something very small and personalized, which is a great alternative if they can book a venue.
Absolutely.
As a designer, as an event designer, moving forward into next year, where couples might have to bring the guest list down. Say, for example, if someone has a 350-person wedding, and they have to bring it down to 150, but they still have that, you know, those 2 big rooms reserved at a venue. So we'd have to kind of work intelligently to kind of develop, you know, a floor plan that can accommodate that number of people safely following SOPs, and, you know, maybe create, you know, dividers with decor, or create little vignettes so the space doesn't look as empty. You know, there's also discussion of having maybe 2 different types of floor plans, or even not everyone having to get on a dance floor. So making, you know, maybe another lounge area with, you know, where the bar is, with one dance floor, having like another smaller dance floor somewhere else to sort of accommodate people being at a distance, yet the room not looking empty. So again, you know, a photo booth in the space, having food stations, I guess with, you know, protocols where you have like a screen in front, or, you know, there's the servers serving you and you're not, you know, touching the food. So stuff like that, I feel we'd have to think about as well in the future, and kind of sort of navigate around that as well.
Very good point. How are spaces, you know, does anyone have experience with how spaces are adapting? Because everything, as we know, is different. When you get your haircut, it's different. Like just the protocols that you're talking about, Amna, all of these things are being put in place by venues to ensure safety and social distancing and everything in our new normal age.
So as of now, as we know, the ceremony that we can obviously conduct can only be up to 50 guests. You know, we do a lot of weddings, and I also focus primarily on a lot of South Asian weddings. In our culture, you know, it's not nice to send someone home without having them to eat. So one of the things, during a ceremony, you know, we can't serve food. So one of the ideas I was talking to one of my clients was, you know, we could give away bento boxes, or, you know, you could give away boxes of food that guests could take away, so it doesn't look bad, and they're not, you know, they're taking that time out to come to your event, attend the event. So there's something you can send home with them. But again, I guess as planners, as designers, we'd have to sort of come up with unique ideas of, you know, what can be done depending on, you know, your couple situation, you know, the norms they follow, and I guess keeping safety protocols in place.
Excellent. Natasha, I want to ask, are you like dealing with a lot of couples now who are rescheduling events, or are we having new couples coming into this space in this situation of our new intimate weddings? Because I feel there's kind of 2 tiers of wedding planning going on. Those that are kind of like in, you know, fix it mode of what they can do now, and then people who want to plan ahead.
Yeah, so I think I have 3 different types of clientele that I'm dealing with right now. Of course, everything for my year has been pushed to 2021. I actually have one bigger wedding that's actually left in October, and myself and the bride are gonna have to have a conversation soon to see, you know, what do we wanna do with that wedding, because they're out of town and we know the border's already shut until June 30th. And there might be quarantine rules that have to go into play, even if she wanted to continue with her wedding, and we could have 150 people. So the first set of people I'm dealing with are my clients who are postponing. Most of them have already done that. I do have the clients who are popping in now and saying, hey, can you offer me a micro wedding? Can you do a smaller package for me? Because I want to get married next month or next week or whatever the case may be. So we do have the people who are kind of jumping on the intimate wedding bandwagon and want to do a smaller wedding like right now. They don't want to wait. And then the third piece of clientele that I'm dealing with is the ones who are kind of wanting to book for next year, but they're really scared. They're like, I want to book with you, but I'm not sure what's going to happen in 2021, and that's tough because now that a lot of weddings are moved, the dates for 2021 are very limited with my company, with venues, I'm sure with all of us. So they're very trepidatious to book, and I understand it. So that's like the third type of clientele that I'm dealing with currently.
Are you seeing like weddings all day of the week for 2021, guys? Is it's just any time, any place, anywhere?
Yeah, I find some of my clients are now considering Fridays where they would have never done it before. I haven't seen much for Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, but it's probably going to happen.
I do think it would be a nice addition to everyone's calendar to have weddings on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays, because that moves the week along and gives us a spot of joy, doesn't it? What about you, Stephanie? How is your client roster rolling out? What types of clients are you dealing with? And what is your advice for people who are in the various stages?
Yeah, so a lot of my clients for this year have moved to next year. I am getting a few more inquiries for smaller weddings happening in 2020. So, their wedding date is really important to them. They don't want to compromise on that. So they want to have a small ceremony and then have the big shebang next year. So those are the new clients that I'm getting, those that are looking for small ceremonies and then the big celebration next year. So I'm telling, my couples, if you can move your wedding to next year so that you can really have the wedding that you really want, do it for next year. Have something small this year, but there's no need to compromise on the big day.
Absolutely. I want to talk about the specialness. We've talked a bit about it, but I really want to hit this home because an intimate wedding really is a very special thing. And, as I mentioned, I had one myself, and it was just a day that was perfect, and it had all the details that my husband and I had planned for. And it was, a very simple in its execution, but there's something really magical about that intimate, setting. It was just two guests, my parents. So Diana, do you want to talk a little bit about that and, sort of how, you're dialoguing with clients about that and talk about why it is so special?
Yeah. I think when it comes down to experience, especially when you have a very intimate day, I think about speeches. That's the first thing that comes to my mind. If you have 10 people at your wedding, every single person can speak about you and your experience and your wedding. So bringing that personal, moment of opportunity where you can have open discussions, enjoy each other's company, where you don't feel like you have to entertain so many other people. This is a really nice moment and opportunity to share every single moment of your time with those guests with you and actually feel like you can mix and mingle amongst all of them. So I would say in terms of personal experience and having that, if you want that moment of like awe and that moment of love and excitement, I think something as, opening the dialogue to everybody being able to speak together and say a speech and just open up, that's a wonderful way of doing it. I also find with the intimate wedding experience, you can now go into more details. So instead of usually, when you do like a guest favor, let's personalize for each guest that's coming to your event. So what is it something that they like, that you'd like to incorporate? Maybe instead of doing one item, you can do like a full care package, a basket of all their favorite items. And now you have some time to think about those guests that mean so much to you, but put a little bit more love into that favored experience. And I also find like a champagne party. Sometimes we go for a Prosecco, it's a little bit cheaper. So if you buy like a nice bottle of champagne, everybody gets to toast that like Veuve Clicquot or anything else. It's like that experience. We kind of go back into the wedding stash, something that we keep on file for a lot of our clients who have like this, I wish I could have these items if only I had more money in my budget. So one of the things that I find is we're now going into that, be like, oh, we have all this extra amount, or you don't even have to spend as much, but it's about what we're doing with those items to create an event experience. So I love the idea of creating these event experiences within. So whether it's detailed items, I know we all go into like place settings and all those personal details, but maybe we can now do something that's more video related, have these beautiful speeches, paired dances. Maybe you get the opportunity to dance with every single person at your wedding. Sometimes we don't have the opportunity to celebrate with our guests and dance with everybody. Like I know when we have larger events, when there's 250, I didn't get to say hi to every single person. We're here with your intimate wedding. You can speak to every single guest. You can dance with every single guest. And these are the moments that are meant to be celebrated. And this is the beauty of a celebration, is taking that opportunity to realize that your moment of celebration can be intimate, but it's what you do with that celebration and how you create that experience for yourself and for your guests that's going to make it special. And I think taking those moments and thinking about, okay, I really want to make sure I speak to every single person. I really want to make sure I have a conversation. I think about the experience. So that's what I look at. And then when it comes to decor, I mean, there's so much you can do, and I'm sure everyone else will touch on that, but that's just one of the things that I think is very special about doing an intimate wedding, is that extra moment of spending time with everyone.
Fantastic. You talked a little bit about the virtual component. What's
Yes.
our feeling on weaving that into your day? And that's really going to become an integral part. People will continue to stream their wedding on Zoom. How are people working this into their day? Amna, do you have thoughts on that?
I think it's a great idea. I'm sure everyone has, everyone's trying to make the social bubble. It's bigger than 10 guests. And
Yes.
I think it's nice to share it with, other people that are not living in the same country as you or the city as you. And a lot of AV companies, DJ companies are sort of transitioning into or pivoting towards live streaming your event, so it can be broadcasted and people can join on Zoom. I mean, as you've seen, we've done, I'm sure everyone has done birthday parties on Zoom. I did mine on Zoom. So I had my entire family on Zoom, and it was amazing. And I felt like I hadn't felt that close to, my extended family, before than I did now, because I feel like I'm always so connected to them. We sort of take the time out to, get online and see them. So I feel that that's a great way with technology to sort of bring that into your event as well, that, you could sort of share it with people who are not able to be a part of it, due to restrictions and I guess travel restrictions.
Yeah, and I think that's kind of a new box to tick on the wedding to-do planning, is to make sure you have your, whether someone's handling it for you or you're hiring an AV firm like you've mentioned. Moving forward, I mean, technology has always been important, but it's so important right now. I want to talk about the fun stuff, guys. Not that this all isn't fun, but let's talk about trends, because let's talk about, is there anything new popping up that couples could consider? What are you guys really loving right now? Stephanie, I'm gonna go right to you, because I feel like we seriously bonded over some color stories.
Yes.
I feel that the days of, I mean, it's beautiful. Whites and greens are lovely, and blushes, but this is a time to really knock it out with some serious color impact and some crazy, beautiful decor. If not now, when? That's what I say.
No, we can do that now. We can do the colors now. But I noticed the trend now is the warmer color palette. So I find that the beiges, the cream, the terracottas, those are the warm color tones that people are really leaning towards, which is like the new white and green. So you can incorporate those colors obviously into your flowers, but one of the new trends right now is adding like art installations to your wedding. So for your ceremony, you can have like a colored block panel right behind you at the ceremony, and add those floral touches. Again, just adding those warm color tones, adding punches of color. It's not something to be afraid of. I think it just adds so much life to your wedding, other than just the typical beige and the whites. And nowadays everybody wants to be different and unique. That's the way to do it.
Can we talk for a second, because the dried element has been so big in floral decor. We had our moment, I feel like, with grasses and all of that, and a lot of people are incorporating color into their day with lots of dried florals that are like sprayed crazy colors, like baby's breath and bunny tail grass. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because that's really a fun thing to me, where you can really add some very non-traditional wedding palette colors.
Absolutely. I think Mandy Moore had started the trend of having that rainbow colored wedding. And so people are incorporating that into their weddings as well. So yeah, you can spray paint baby's breath, asparagus, all those little little touches that you can add to floral arrangements gives it that very unique look, as well as adding those dry elements to bouquets, not just installations. So you have the sun palms, you have the dried grasses, other preserved and dried elements that you can add to bouquets that are far past the pampas grass. We're past that now. We can go past that and do other things. But yeah, dried elements really is a beautiful touch, which also adds to that warm color tone that's on trend.
Perfect. I'm going to ask you all this question, but I'm going to close your trends conversation with what is right now, your perfect dream color palette?
Ooh, you know what? We're going to be moving to London soon, and my house is going to be that terracotta color scheme. So we're going to have a lot of that terracottas, the creams, even touches of dark green, touches of a light orange. All of those different colors is just so on trend, and I love it. So
beautiful.
I'm having it in my home too. So if you want it for your wedding, I got it. I got it all.
I'm sure of that when that all happens. We can have some color info. Amna, let's talk to you about some trends. What are we seeing in decor? And you have to tell me your dream color palette when you're finished. That's very important.
I know. So in decor, what's happening now is what I've been noticing is a lot of my couples, like Diana mentioned, they have this budget now because of the smaller wedding that they want to sort of splurge on florals or splurge on decor. I have a really unique wedding next year where it's only 50 guests, and I think I spoke to you, Alison, about it yesterday.
Yes.
It's in a barn. It's only 50 guests, and we're sort of designing it from scratch. So it's like, for me, it's like a dream come true. So we're getting chairs, linens. They also have the farmhouse. So for them, it's a really intimate event where they're at the venue and they're having their ceremony and reception right there. So, we're looking at the same taupes, nudes, terracotta colors. Some people are sort of moving into the brighter colors too for summer next year. And for me personally, I love the same color palette. It's what's on trend right now. And so we're trying to sort of shift our couples into those colors as well. Again, for me, the biggest thing is try to keep it as timeless and as classic as possible, and whatever is neutral, I feel it sort of lasts you through the years as well. So again, terracotta, nudes, taupes, all of those tones mixed with a lot of greens as well, or no greens at all. Preserved florals are the way to go as well, just because of the way we've been getting our flowers, because of the low demand, we've not been getting a lot of fresh florals in. So it's always nice to kind of mix a bit of the preserve to just play it safe. We're hoping things get better next year, but that's sort of what's happening as of now.
What are you seeing? Like, what is the tablescape looking like? Are we seeing high, low? What type of things are you sort of envisioning for the new intimate wedding?
So with intimate weddings, because they're lesser tables, a lot of couples are going for like long harvest tables as well. It gives you the opportunity to sort of really focus on them and do more highs or lows. You can mix both. It really depends on the venue as well. Like if you have like taller ceilings, I would recommend taller florals so the ceilings there's not a lot of gap between the two. But again, I see a lot of my couples mixing the two because they want like a mix of highs and lows. Also, moving forward, I'm seeing a lot of detail on the table, whereas if they're larger guest list, they weren't able to do like high-end linens or charger plates or focus on larger florals. But now I've been seeing that trend where they're like, okay, we want everything because we're able to do it just because of a reduced guest count. As of before, they're spending more money on the venue and food, whereas now there's a sort of like a shift where they want it to look nice and they want it to look full and lush. So sort of that's where I feel the trend is moving now with some of my couples, where they want all of that because now they're able to do it, and it's a great opportunity for them to sort of have their, I guess, dream wedding.
Absolutely. So your color palette of choice is much like Stephanie's, very terracotta, earth story.
Yes, it is. I have to push my clients to do that more, but yes, it is.
Excellent. Diana, how about you? What do you see for trends?
Okay, so the full experience that I'm seeing is like a curtain of string lights all wrapped around me. So I think for that,
Casual, very casual.
Right.
I know. So I feel like now there's so much that you can do. So kind of going back into that backyard party experience, really bringing everything very intimate. So I'm someone who loves suspension. I love things coming from the sky. So when we have the opportunity to work with those things, my first initial thought is like a picnic party, an intimate picnic party that transcends into dinner under the stars. So having like twinkly lights, a bit of suspension, those are things that I'm seeing, and I have a lot of clients that want suspended, so they want to feel like they're suspended and immersed under a beautiful decorative piece because they weren't able to do that with large gathering amounts. So we're creating focal pieces within dinner and creating a full range experience around them. So that's what I'm seeing and I'm feeling. I'm the opposite when it comes to muted tones. I love color, so I love yellow, the blues, I love tangerine tones. We'll be using that a lot in the summer for a lot of our events. Like we have some private parties that we're throwing in the yellows, the tangerine colors, the blue tones. So I'm really excited about that. But that's what I'm feeling for the summer, like these bright, beautiful, bold colors. And then going into fall, doing tone on tone. Like if you're working with blushes, doing all blush or mauvey tones and dusty roses. If we're going into something, or merlots or jewel tones, where it's all tone on tone on tone. So those are things that I'm loving as well, and what we're seeing, as well as prints, a lot of different prints. So whether it's like a polka dot print, a striped print, something in chevron, a lot of little details just to add a little bit more of pop. People want to have fun, especially now that they're doing more intimate events, they want to have fun. So they're like, let's just throw out that white gardeny wedding and do something a little bit more fun. So we're doing a lot more themed events as well. Like, so whether it's like a Wonderland feel or a secret garden or under the Tuscan sun, like there's a lot of different elements that we're incorporating and bringing a little bit of like, cause you can't travel right now. So let's bring that the out of the world, like Europe or anywhere else in the world, into your backyard. So I'm finding that people are getting very excited and very creative with unique elements and bringing things from different parts of the world into their own backyards, into their own events.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Nicole, your
Hi.
thoughts? Are you
So actually,
are you wrapped in string lights too?
no, I'm not. But I respect it. A trend I want to actually call out isn't decor wise, but it's technology. So when we talked about streaming weddings, Amna was talking about, people streaming their ceremonies, etc. A really cool take that I've seen on that is streaming your event. And when it comes time for the reception, you have the caterer actually send the actual meals to the people who were supposed to attend. Now, this is a little bit more apropos for like a bridal shower or a birthday party. So, they have the same main course as you, the same entree, the same dessert. You're eating it at the same time while you're actually streaming. So that's like a really cool trend that I've seen, as well as personalized iPod music lists that people I don't think we say iPod anymore. Let's say iPhone or Spotify music lists. Yeah, I'm aging myself. But those lists that we send out to the guests and say, you know what, you may not be at the reception, but play this. This is what we're going to be playing. So they have the same immersive experience, even though they're not there. When it comes to decor, for me, I've seen a lot of bringing the inside out. So we're bringing pillows outside. We're bringing a lounge area into people's backyards so that, after they have dinner, they can kind of relax with a drink on a couch outside. So bringing a lot of the elements from inside out is really a big trend that I've seen as well. When it comes to color palettes, sorry guys, I'm boring. I'm really in love with blush, deep rose, dusty rose. Ombre is a big thing now. People are a little bit scared of the Pantone color this year, which is classic blue, but they're okay with bringing in like maybe the dusty blue and then a baby blue, and then we go with the classic blue. So doing an ombre trend is really good as well. But for me, I'm always like with the classic roses and, blushes.
That's okay.
Sorry.
I've seen a little bit happening, and I don't know if anyone else has seen this, is iridescence seems to be quite an undercurrent. I mean, it's happening in fashion, it's happening in beauty. So it's not glitter and it's not sparkle, but it's almost that holographic effect, which I think is kind of cool and a way to bring color in if you don't want like the big show of it. Excellent. Well, ladies, this has been an incredible chat. I'm going to do a closing roundup and let you all have cover anything that I might not have chatted with you about. Let's start with you, Nicole. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for offering your expertise and anything else that you'd like to share with our audience today.
Thank you for having me. I just want to share with all the couples out there, all of your vendors, we feel your pain. We know what it's like to have worked on a day. We're working on it with you. And for it not to come to fruition, but don't feel free to approach us about an intimate wedding. We are really immersed and we love this new concept. I mean, it's not brand new, but we are totally willing to kind of flip things over and get you your special day, whether it's on your original wedding date or not. You know, approach us, ask us, we're here for you, and we love you all. So
thank you so much. Stephanie?
Yeah, along the same lines, you know, vendors right now love this opportunity because we're able to have that flexibility to really customize your wedding. Before, the goal for couples was to, you know, stick to the budget and sacrifice the vision that they really wanted. But now this is the time for them to really have that wedding that they really want, because that they have that flexibility. And so as creatives, we have that flexibility to be creative with you. So it's a really unique time. Take advantage of it. And like Nicole said, reach out to your vendors. We're ready to be there. And also, thanks for having me.
Diana?
Yes, I was going to say, open your heart and let the stress go down the window, because everybody's here, as you all mentioned, to make this an amazing experience. We all want any couple who's planning a wedding during this time and going into a micro wedding experience to just let all the energy come in and just to get excited about what you actually can do with your event. Be creative. I know there was a lot of things that we had mentioned earlier in regards to things that, you know, that virtual feel. I think there's so much that you can do, like work with your caterer if you need to, if you're doing box, dropped items to all those guests. Drop champagne at their doorsteps, bring them a little cake. I feel celebration will happen any place that you are in the world. And if you're going down to a small micro wedding and you have that intimate guest count, you can still have all those other guests around you join you with a live video. So there's so much that you can do. Don't feel discouraged. Get excited, because everyone is here to help you, and we're excited for you. We all want to get to work. We all want to put these events together. We are all ready to jump at the opportunity to take care of you. So know that everyone has your back, and we're all excited to be there to assist you throughout the process.
Fabulous. Thank you so much for joining us. Amna?
My pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much for having me, Alison. So I guess my take would be to obviously, I guess the initial, the first one, it was initially shock, and then it sort of settled in with everyone. But I would say that obviously the same as along the lines as Diana said, that don't get disheartened. We're all here to help you out. We're here to listen. We're working the best we can with our couples. It's been hard for us as well as our couples, so we're trying to work together, be flexible. We're trying to listen to them. We're trying to talk to venues, to planners, to other people in the industry as well, to see how we can make this a better experience going forward. I personally love intimate weddings. It gives us an opportunity to plan and do so much more in terms of from a decor perspective as well. And you know, if they have smaller ceremonies now and, you know, bigger later ones, we will make the most of both of them and give them a special day. And again, they should not get disheartened. We should all stay positive, and, you know, I am 100% sure we will definitely get through this, and we should look at this as an opportunity to learn and sort of move forward, and take it, you know, step by step, see what the regulations are, and sort of we'd have to pivot accordingly. But I feel like the industry we're in, we are so used to doing things last minute. We're so used to stress that, you know, we will get through this.
Very good point. And I love that you say keep positive. Well, I'm going to say for us at Weddingbells, it's been a journey as well. We've been right along with couples, and of course supporting everyone in our industry who is figuring out the new normal. And I feel that we've come to a point now where we sort of know a little bit what it looks like. It's really great because we're starting to see a lot of micro weddings coming in. So you'll start to see real weddings on weddingbells.ca right now of micro weddings. We're putting together our next issue. It comes out on August 7th. So I am happy to be spreading the love and spreading the word, and I'm spreading some color with lots of great inspiring ideas for weddings and addressing the new normal. Like, what are we wearing for micro weddings and what is all that looking like, and planning ahead. So ladies, once again, thank you so much for joining us today. Nicole, Diana, Stephanie, and Amna, you've been invaluable and we've had a wonderful conversation. I thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.